Tottenham Hotspur has been a club full of rich history. Even though people banter us that we have never won something, we have actually done quite well in our past, winning Europa Leagues, League Cups and FA Cups, and even a couple of league titles. We've also been an ever-present in the Premier League, never have been relegated. But this season, and I for one think it has been one of the worst seasons I've seen from Tottenham Hotspur in the nearly 30 years I have supported and followed the football club. It has been that bad under Ange Postecoglou and these players. So today on the Sonny talkSPORT YouTube channel, I'm going to be reacting to all that's happened since the fallout of the Wolves game and deciding whether this has been the worst season in Tottenham's history. But before we go any further, if you are new to the Sonny talkSPORT YouTube channel, then drop us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also leave your comments down below. Is it the worst season you've ever seen? So yeah, this video idea came to me on the train home actually from work today, from talkSPORT, and I was like, this has been terrible. This has actually been such a bad season. Where you look at where we are in the Premier League table, Wolves, who beat us at the weekend, are only 2 points behind us. It's been an absolute ghastly season. If it wasn't for the likes of Southampton, Leicester and Ipswich, I dread to think where we would be. Probably relegated. Probably the first relegation in the Premier League era. We've been relegated before in our history, but not in the Premier League era. And I just want to start with, first of all, this image. I referenced it in my recent video, my match reaction to the Wolves game. This sums up Tottenham at the moment. An absolute mess on and off the pitch. And this is going to be quite ranty. But after seeing some of the stats and the tweets since the game, it has absolutely baffled me. So we might as well start by reacting to some of these tweets. So the first one, and this blew my mind. Tottenham have now lost more league games this season, 17, than Pochettino lost in 2015-16, 16-17 and 17-18 combined. 16. I sound like that in-betweeners meme, don't I? 16, your managers, you know. But it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Don't care how you look at it. And I know I've said about writing off the league because of the Europa League, but this is absolutely embarrassing. And those still defending Ange Postecoglou, it's not good enough. I even thought about this earlier. A lot of people in my comment section were like, you can't blame Ange for the Wolves game. It was 4 individual errors. That comes from the manager. The way he sets up the team. The way he drills his system into them. The way to give them confidence. They're not confident enough if they're conceding within the first minute yet again. Whether they're throwing 2-goal leads away against Brighton and losing 3-2. Making mistakes on the ball. Romero making the wrong decision. That comes from the manager. I don't care. These losses have been just embarrassing. The way we concede goals. The fact that we have our goal difference and the goals scored but the goals conceded mean we are where we are in the table. And that comes from Ange Postecoglou. It's not good enough. I don't know why some people still think he's good, because he's getting sacked, whatever. He's getting sacked sooner rather than later. And it just absolutely confuses me that, we're able and want to accept this mediocrity. I'm not arguing that Tottenham are the biggest club in the world, and, but I look at the players out there, I look at the ability, and I think these players have just lost it with this manager. They've got no effort to go out there and try. It's just such a damning indictment of this season. And I know it comes from Levy, but Ange Postecoglou, he's not motivating these players. And these losses on the board are not good enough. We look so down and out of it. It's embarrassing. And everyone will say 6 changes, injuries. I don't care. It's just not good enough at any level. It just isn't. Another one was Tottenham lose their 10th away Premier League match of the season. Only Southampton 13 and Leicester 11 have lost more. Then you had Tottenham's lowest ever Premier League points total is 44. That was in the 97-98 season. They are currently on 37 points with 6 games remaining. And it doesn't look like we're going to win another game in the Premier League. We've got to go Villa away. We've got to go Anfield away. Where are the points going to come from? What is going on? And then It's been a bad season for Tottenham. With 17 losses already, it's the most defeats Spurs have suffered in the league campaign since 2003-04. 19 defeats. They finished 14th. I mean, and you look at most Premier League defeats this season. Southampton 26, Leicester 22, Ipswich 19, Tottenham 17. We are the 4th worst team in the Premier League at the moment. I don't care about, West Ham and also Wolves. They've changed their managers and got better. We've kept the same manager and we're just getting worse and worse and worse. I just can't get my head around it. And then to make it even worse, Cristian Romero storming down the tunnel. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Cristian Romero? That's an absolute disgrace. I'll put it on screen now for you. It's absolutely balmy that he thinks that's acceptable. As the club captain for this game, you are acting like this. And if he wants to leave the club, you might as well go, because I just don't like this attitude. You've got to go out there and fight and just, if the manager's not doing it, you've got to show it. And I think Ange Postecoglou has been backed by Cristian Romero in the past, but this is an absolute embarrassment from a player. I'm sick to the back teeth of the attitude of the manager and the player. I did a video recently about Ange Postecoglou, called it the end of Ange Postecoglou after his reaction to the Chelsea result. He is just doing himself up like a kipper. He's mentioned that there's leaks in the camp. I mean, I don't know where his mind is at the moment, Ange Postecoglou. I just think it's just an absolute car crash. It has to be the worst Premier League season of all time for Tottenham Hotspur. There's no shadow of a doubt. There's some where we've flirted more with relegation, but the form and the performances and chucking away Leeds and, just not turning up, losing to Ipswich, losing to Leicester at home, losing to a Wolves side who have been down there the whole season, 4-2. And yes, 6 changes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter a jot, because you've absolutely gone out there and been embarrassing. You've made 4 mistakes, and that's on the manager. This manager, what we've got to remember as well, is he said whatever the players do, whatever they do, that's on him. Their decisions are on him. He tells them to play like that. So it's not their fault that they do certain things and, are not sure how to judge a flight of a ball and all that. That's on him. And I'm sick of, these are also his players. He is indoctrinated them to play like this way. And he's not getting the best out of them. So it doesn't matter. And there's so many, Dominic Solanke doesn't suit this manager. Son doesn't suit this manager. Brennan Johnson doesn't suit this manager. Maddison doesn't suit this manager. It's not working. We need to change up in the summer. If not sooner rather than later. I'm sick of this manager now. It's just, I'm so numb watching Spurs. I'm more riled than ever from the last couple of videos. But it's so numb knowing that we're just going to go out there and we know we're never going to keep a clean sheet. We know we're going to concede early. We know we're not going to turn up. It's just been an utter car crash of a season. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. was a big Ange backer in the early days, but what has happened, I don't think we could have predicted. It's just gone absolute to pot. But yeah, I just think you've just got to get rid. You've just got to get rid, start again. These stats are so damning, and a lot of these managers have gone, apart from Kieran McKenna at Ipswich. Southampton, we sacked 2 of their managers. Wolves got rid of their manager. Leicester got rid of their manager. I don't know if they've got worse, but they got a result against us. But yeah, it's harrowing viewing. It's just not good. We just know what's going to happen each game we play. And I go into the Frankfurt game and I just think, what's the point? Like, it's just not... I don't feel like... After the last Frankfurt game, I thought they showed something. But again, if we had something about us, we would have won that game. We would have put that game to bed. It should have been 3-1, 4-1. But no, it's just not working. The tactics are just easily dealt with. And Frankfurt, they're going to roll us over. I can see it now. I can just envision it. It's just been such a bad season. And Daniel Levy needs to buck his ideas up going into the summer. Because what is he doing? I mean, I've moaned about him enough. I don't want to talk about him. He doesn't deserve the breath. But Ange Postecoglou, just these stats, the losses, the goals conceded. You can't play football like this. He said it was going to be entertaining. He said he would do it his way, mate. He said, "Are you not entertaining?" Like it looks so bad now. It looks so bad, and I'm not sure why people still back him. I don't know. Some people think he's bigger than us. Some people think he's better than us. He's not showing it. There's no, the thing is, it'd be all well and good if there were positive signs. There's not positive signs anymore. There's nothing to go, that's spot on. That was good. This was a good move. He even said, and this is what I want to say as well. He said after the game that we had the better chances. We dominated the ball. What are you on? I'll put the quote on screen now. It's utterly ridiculous to even think that, to suggest that. And I think there's a video as well. I'll play that as well.
Ange, thanks for joining us. Obviously ended 4-2 in the end. What were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, look, it was a bit of a funny game for us. I thought our general football was good. Not an easy place to come to, but we've conceded goals on the back of uncharacteristic individual errors, and I think when that happens, it's very hard for us then to get a result out of the game.
I remember we spoke after Chelsea, and that was the first thing you said to us. The poor goals are killing us at the moment.
Yeah, look, today was just obviously guys making errors who, to be fair, have been pretty good for us this year. So just it all happened in one game, and we got punished for it.
The funny thing is, Ange, as you alluded to, I mean, between the opening goal and the second goal, we played really well, didn't we? Got ourselves back into it. And on the front foot, we looked pretty good in spells.
Yeah, no, I thought we, like I said, for the most part, I thought our football was good, even in the second half. We obviously had to chase the game a bit, but I thought we did that really well. We got ourselves into a great position at 2-1. Obviously, then we conceded almost straight away, and then back to 3-2 again we concede. So, I guess. Like I said, I think from our perspective, we understand why we lost today, but in general, our football wasn't too bad.
And just finally, Decky back after 6 weeks away. I mean, that's looking good for Thursday as well, isn't it?
Yeah, important for Decky, Richie, Matty Tell to all get some significant minutes today because, they're going to be important Thursday.
Thanks, Ange.
Thanks.
It's just balmy. What game are you watching that you think that's good enough? That was good enough. You lost 4-2, and the 2 goals came from, against the run of play. And then what happened? We conceded straight after. We're the only team who can do that. Lucas Bergwall caught on the ball because you're coaching him to do that. You're chucking a kid in the deep end. And then Cunha hasn't played in ages, scores 1-on-1. They had 5 shots, 4 goals. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And if you're an Ange fan, then fair play, go and support him at his next club. Because Tottenham fans should not be happy with what they're seeing right now. And it's the case of the main discourse for the last couple of days.
Speaking of not acceptable, I want to talk Spurs. Played 32, lost 17. How long can that go on?
Well, it can't go on any longer. And I think if they go out to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Cup, I it probably would be a shake hands and move on to something different for both parties in terms of the manager and the club. And Ange Postecoglou, since he's come in, I love watching Spurs. I love it when I've got a Spurs game. I love analysing. There's things go on. But if you're a Spurs fan, you're so open. You're always conceding goals. They're an exciting team to watch. I've said it for so long. They should be, everybody's second team in some ways, because you're always going to get a great game. But no, I mean, some of the results that we've seen this season, there's been mitigating circumstances in some cases in terms of the injuries that they've had. But, I mean, even when they've had the full team, they haven't been winning enough games. And this has not just been going on this season. If you go back to the first 10 games of last season when they were fantastic, top of the league, from then, this has been going on a long time. This has been going on nearly 18 months with them conceding goals and losing games. So it's not, just turning on the manager really quickly over a real run of form. This has been going on a long time.
Is that too easy to say, Martin, post-match? They didn't mean to do it. I mean, and the odd time you had a defensive error in your career, did you get away with it by saying, I didn't mean to do that?
Well, look, this is the manager protecting the players. Romero coming back from springs to mind. He made a basic error, didn't he? He gets to the ball, doesn't really deal with it. He's kind of just going through the motions a little bit, which was kind of indicative of the team's performance. And the manager he needs him on Thursday. That's their season all boils down to Thursday night. He doesn't want to.
But is he saying something different in the dressing room to them?
Yeah,
surely he is.
Of course he is.
Like, guys, I know you didn't mean to do it. Of course he's not saying that. Is he laying into them? Is he trying to correct it?
I wouldn't say laying in, but it's like, come on, guys, we need more than this, You're going to Wolves and losing 4-2. Wolves have been a bit of an embarrassment for most of the season. Cunha didn't even start the game, comes off the bench and scores.
Tottenham's 17th Premier League defeat.
Well, I mean, this is half of their games.
In 32
They're losing
games
half their
played.
games. It's crazy. It's crazy numbers. Again, we see another situation here. We'll have Spurs fans in a minute ringing up saying, what's Keown on about? But
why not?
We know that he's hanging on. This manager's absolutely hanging on. We've seen managers with far better records lose their job by now at Spurs. But I do feel they're in a better situation than Manchester United, actually, that they look like more of a team than Manchester United. I can see the basics of a team. Whether they'll be good enough to go through against Frankfurt is another matter, because they, what are they in the Bundesliga, third in the table?
You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get with Manchester United. You don't know what you're going to get with Tottenham.
I think when Van der Ven coming back was magnificent in the game against Frankfurt.
17 league defeats. Tottenham.
Yeah, it's not good enough, but I do see the basics of a team that's taken place. You look at Johnson, he's only a young man, he's the top goal scorer. Gray came in, he hasn't played Spence, they didn't play midweek, so he's made a number of changes.
Barcelona's got a team full of young men.
Barcelona?
Yeah. You say Brennan Johnson is only a young man. What kind of defence is that? If he's too young, he shouldn't be in.
We're talking about him rebuilding the team here, and he's bringing people back one by one. And we're saying, well, okay, can they make a fist of it in the next round in the Europa League? Yes, they can. And they can rescue that.
But Martin, he kicked up so much when he didn't have all his players available to him.
I know, but
he had so many injuries. Now they're coming back.
Yes.
Nothing's changing.
It's not acceptable what the Spurs fans are seeing, but they're going to stick with him. And he's trying to stick with his play. I was in a box. Some seriously moneyed people are saying, enough's enough. Well, they know, but he's hanging on, isn't he, now, trying to in this competition. So you've got Thursday night coming up, so you're not going to just leave him on his own. He's got the players that he can pull on, Jim, but that is going to be a very tough game for Frankfurt. As I say, third in the Bundesliga. They're a good outfit. But I do feel that Spurs could do something there. I do genuinely believe that they have got enough to win that match. Let's see if they can produce.
And the fans? But, I mean, when you look at it, it's hard to give any positives out of this Premier League domestic season for Tottenham, Simon. It's a bit like Manchester United. You can reel out any excuse you like, but it's unacceptable. Surely it's unacceptable.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Tottenham fans will think it's acceptable. There'll be the section of Tottenham fans that will blame it on Levy, but the bottom line is that when you are where you are in the league, and I mean, we've had this discussion about him getting players back. We've seen him lose games previously with players when he's had a full squad available, and he lost to I think Ipswich Town and lost to Crystal Palace at the time, who were not in very good nick at all. And even when he's not had a full squad of players and he's had injuries and lots of them, there's still been enough in that team to have gotten better results.
Kelvin is a big Tottenham fan. Kelvin, how are you? What would you like to say? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. Fantastic show as always.
Thanks, Kelvin.
I mean, basically, Postecoglou has got as much chance of finding out who the mole is as he has of turning this into a winning team. He's out of his depth. He's quite simply out of his depth. You know, people go on about what he did in Scotland. The top 2 teams in Scotland would struggle to win the championship. So let's be honest about that. And also as well, he has no idea what he's doing with his team. It changes so much, and he chops and changes things around so much that there's just no solidity in the team. You know, there's no togetherness in that team. They don't want to play for him, and it's really sad to see.
Kelvin, what happens? What happens, in all honesty, if somehow they get to the Europa League final and win it?
If they get to the Europa League final and win it, it will be on pure and absolute luck and chance.
Even if it is, what happens with Ange if they do that?
I still think he needs to go, because we will win that on pure luck, and then next season we'll start to go through the whole same thing as we have done this season, where we can't beat teams that we should be beating week in, week out, and we're not showing up against other teams.
Kelvin, listen, thanks for the call. How crazy would that be, though, Simon, in the eyes of many, if Tottenham go and win a trophy the first time since 2008, and it's a European one, and he's shown the door?
Well, you've seen them do it before. You saw them sack Mourinho on the eve of a final, so it's not beyond the wit of man to presume that it can be done. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, and I hate to say it, if he doesn't win the Europa League, I think he will be gone, and I think he'll have earned that for himself, because you can't deliver a Tottenham side that finishes in the bottom 4 or 5 of the table and doesn't win anything else as some sort of cover for that.
But Mourinho and Conte set fire to the place. Yeah. Ange hasn't done that.
No, he set fire to the team instead.
Do you think he set fire to his own team? Mark?
Well, if you finish 15th in the league, you've set fire to your team.
Every press conference he sets it on fire, doesn't he? You know, because there's his reaction. What he needs to concentrate, as I say, I think with the 2 central defenders are the biggest loss this season. You need that stability in that position. Van der Ven will be okay for the next game. Romero needs to be reminded of how good he can be and not play like he did yesterday against Wolves. Then you bring people back. The 2 fullbacks come back in. It's a different back 4 they played with yesterday, Jim. They've very much got a view on this game coming up. Verkvale is a really good young player that's starting to control midfield. Maddison needs to play in that, you know, progressive position at the top of the midfield. Maybe he doesn't even go with Maddison if he wants to be a little bit more compact. And just look, Son needs to turn up. You know, he's not offering enough to the team. He's the so-called captain.
He came in for a lot of stick on Thursday night.
But Solanke coming back from injury, one by one, they're there. And now this has to be their best game of the season.
Yeah.
In the next game. Has to be. And then anything is possible for them, Jim, because they are capable of winning this competition.
I must admit, a fellow Scot, and I agree with him, has just got in touch with me, the top 2 in Scotland would struggle to win the championship. I don't think so somehow. I think Celtic would certainly be in amongst it. Maybe not Rangers at this particular time, but Celtic would have a different say on that. David, I don't know what time it is with you. You're down under in Australia, but a big Tottenham fan. What do you want to say? Incidentally, you're not the leak from long range, are you?
No, I mean, there's a few things to say about Ange. I mean, he's going to go. He will not be there to start next season, I think, regardless of whether he wins Europa or not. I think that since he's walked through the door, he's been patronised by certain sections of the English media, all this Bonds, Robbie Williams. And as you rightly said, the question that was asked to him about the Arsenal fans cheering last week was an absolutely disgraceful question that would never be asked to your Peps or anybody else. But I think that, you know, when he came in, he was the avuncular Australian who was great for the culture of the club, which was an absolute disarray after the whole Conte, Stellini, Paratici disgrace. But, you know, Martin talks about Romero. Romero has been shocking this season when he's played. I appreciate he's come back in from Copa America, but when he has played for us, he has acted like someone who wants his move. From day dot, when he joined the club and he went and played that COVID international against Brazil, where the club told him not to go and do that, he has treated us like a David Lloyd centre getting ready for Argentina. And you would have noted yesterday, he was the captain yesterday. At the final whistle, I think he did 5 claps to the away fans, turned on his heels, disappeared down the tunnel. He is not a captain. I want him out of the club. Son is not a leader either. And frankly, his decline over the last couple of years He's a legend, and we love him for what he's done for the club. But, you know, Liverpool do succession planning very well. Look what they've done with Mane and Firmino. We never do that. We just grind players down to the ground and don't get a value out of them anyway. But I think the reality of the situation is that he will go. But at the start of the summer, the end of the summer window, we all knew we were playing more games this season, and we went into the season with a weakened squad. Now, whatever the merits of Royale, Højbjerg, Skip, and other players, they were, you know, Premier League experienced players. Bergvall and Gray have come in. Ange didn't use them to start with until we got that injury. Bergvall's been absolutely magnificent.
He was, I watched him the other night. You're right, David.
Fantastic.
Against Frankfurt, he was superb.
He was superb. But the reality of the situation is that, you know, apparently we were in for Conor Gallagher. I doubt he'd ever would have come to Tottenham. We were in for Eze. But, you know, you had to buy these ready-to-go players in their prime, paying top salaries to strengthen the first team. We went into this season with a weaker squad and more games. But, you know, Ange carries a lot of blame for this. The ownership carries a lot of blame for this. And we'll rinse and repeat. We'll get another manager in for the start of next season. We've got this new CEO going. I don't know what his role means in terms of kind of, will he have complete and utter control over the football operations? Because we've been told this time and time again before. Let's hope so, because he has a track record of doing well in football. Scott Munn's track record is AFL and other and you know, minor football. And we'll see how we go. But the song remains the same. The record remains the same as it's been for the last 20 years. But thanks for allowing me on the show, guys.
I'll tell you what, mate. Scott's not happy with you.
Scott?
Scott's not happy with you. Should I get him on?
If you want to.
How are we, Scott? Scott's a Spurs fan, by the way.
Right.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, my friend.
Oh, good.
Another terrible display today for Spurs, wasn't
it? It is the worst football I've ever seen in my life of any team. This guy is utterly clueless. At one point in that game, Jed Spence, who was playing left back, was right wing. He lost the ball, and if it wasn't for a bad pass, they would have been in 3-on-2.
What do we do, though, Scott? What do we do, Scott?
He goes. He should have went, ready? He should have went after the West Ham game, I believe it was West Ham, when he played 3 at the back. He thought, I would change it, or was it Everton? It's one of those two. He tried playing 3 at the back, and we got hammered.
Everton, we was 3-0 down after like 30 minutes, weren't we?
It was unbelievable. He is the most it's hard to describe how bad he is. Like, and Alan, you come out with it would be the wrong thing to sack him before the Europa League, but he's lost 17 games, and we still have to play Forest at home, Liverpool away, which we're not going to win. We're not going to beat West Ham away, I doubt. We got Palace at home, Aston Villa away, and Brighton at home. We may beat Brighton.
Tough games.
He could end up with 20 losses.
He definitely could be, for sure.
But where's your evidence to say that he should keep his job?
Go on, Scott.
No, the point I'm making is Thursday night, because the turnaround and you know, in terms of a European game, you've already played him. You know the opposition. He's obviously got experience as a manager. He done exceptionally well at Celtic. Sorry, so you know he deserves his chance Thursday night. He protected himself a little bit today in terms of the selection of the team. But I'm not defending him in any shape or form about his league form. You know, I've been on here many times on a Sunday with Madge and saying, wow, you know, he's putting himself under huge pressure with these results. But I genuinely think for Spurs, forget about Ange for 1 minute, I just think they'd be better to stay with him for Thursday night. That's my opinion.
But why?
What do you mean, why?
But like, to stay with him Thursday night, what's he going to do? What's he going to...
because I thought last Thursday it was one of your better performances I've seen.
Yeah, the second half.
So you had a measure of the opposition. That doesn't mean to say you're going to be able to do that in their stadium.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be very difficult.
It is going to be difficult.
I think those instances there, and you can tell me.
But you know, what I'm saying is the turnaround. Take Ange goes tomorrow. The disruption that, you know, you could say it could give us a boost.
That's what I'm after.
Yeah,
the lift.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That kind of that manager's gone, and now you know everybody's got a clean slate, and off we go with the new who is going to be Jermaine Defoe or whatever it's going to be. I genuinely think that I'm not saying he deserves it. I don't think that's probably the word I would use. I would say, if I was the owner of Spurs,
justified.
I would stick with him.
It's just
for Thursday.
Wow.
And he needs to win it.
Scott, you don't agree?
Yeah, no. Forget the Europa League for a minute. Alan, would you sack him tomorrow? Forget Europa League.
No.
So even though he's lost 17 games this season,
yeah, but I genuinely think
the end of the year.
No, but
forget Europa League.
I also think this though as well, because you could argue to get a new manager in at this time, okay, to get a review of the group before the transfer window would be a good thing. You could argue that. I would say your options are very, very limited to get a manager to come into Spurs, leave a football club, and go there for the last 6 games. That's going to be very, very difficult.
No, it'll be an interim thing.
If you're going to sack the manager, and you're not going to go down, right? So there's no danger to the franchise of Tottenham. It is still going to be as big as it is this year. It will be next year because it's not going to get relegated. You get to the end of the season. You say, okay, if he goes then, because then you've got much bigger margin, much bigger window of managers, top managers, to bring in the guy that you want, and that is the truth. And a lot of Premiership clubs will change their manager. Well, not saying a lot, but when you look through the Premier League years, they just go with a manager to the end of the year, and he's gone at the end, and they bring the guy in the summer. It all goes rather quiet. There's no media coverage. Out he goes, new one comes in, and I think that is a big possibility at Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously, if he doesn't win Thursday.
And I made my thoughts clear. I want him gone as soon as possible. I want a new manager brought in with better ideas, better philosophy, who's going to, sort out this defence, fix this midfield, and get us firing on all cylinders again, because it's so stale and boring. And, the problem is we've gone around the houses, we've had every manager under the sun, but I know who I want as my next manager. And I just feel like we need to sort that out as soon as possible. But yeah, you're going to have to let me know in the comments down below. Is this the worst Tottenham team you've ever seen? Is it the worst season you've ever known? Because it's definitely up there, if not at the very, very top. I mean, there might have been some older seasons when I wasn't alive, but you have to let me know in the comments down below if you're of that generation. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed that rant again. But yeah, I'll try and keep positive. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I've got a video with Billy T. We're going to preview more of the Frankfurt game. So that should be enjoyable. And then I'll have my match reaction to Frankfurt on Thursday. But yeah, until then, hope you've enjoyed. Leave your likes, comments, and share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. But until next time, see you guys soon. Ciao.